Mr. Peck, would you please come forward? On behalf of the Tulsa Library and all the young people in Tulsa County, we are pleased to present you with the 2002 Ann V. Zarrow Award for Young Readers Literature Award.
Thank you very much. Don't I have the best readers in the world? Yes, I do. I am so grateful for these letters from young people, too. What a welcome this town gives outsiders. Kyle Critchman writes, "Congratulations on receiving the Ann V. Zarrow Award for Children's Books. I have read 2 of your books. One is Fairweather, which is my favorite of the 2. My favorite character in it is Granddad. By the way, how do you pronounce Euterpe? The other one of your books I have read is The Last Safe Place on Earth. My favorite character in it is C.E. Signed, Kyle Critchman. I'll read them all and carry them away with me, with memories of this town. I live in New York City in order to keep my eye on publishers there. Because I write books about being young in America, and New York editors don't know where America is. They live in a constant state of confusion. They vote Democrat, live Republican, and can't find their way out of town. But I can, and I'll go anywhere for a story. And I've picked up more than a few this morning, and today, all day long. And next week, I'll be in Hawaii for the annual Maui Writers Conference. Not a bad life. And it all came to... And I had 3 dreams. And being a boy, I couldn't tell my dreams. But they burned bright within me. I dreamed of being a writer. I wanted to be a writer before I could read. And I dreamed of living in a place I had never set eyes on. The magic city, New York. I dreamed of living high in a building in book-lined rooms, looking out across the electric skyline of that city. And my 3rd dream was to go everywhere. London, New York, Tulsa, Maui. And meet everybody. You want to be very careful what you wish for. I got it all because I'm a writer. The story is what people like us have to offer in a world filling up with gunfire and other people's cell phone conversations and email. When you don't care enough to send the very best. And so a scrap of story. And now the letters come in from those books, from readers of those books, from young readers who are the real reviewers, though they do not read reviews. Here, in fact, is a paragraph from a letter I have just received from a young reader. If I would have wrote the book, I would have made Mary Alice's family rich. I also would have renamed the characters. Mary Alice would become Elizabeth, and Joey would become Troy. I would make them rich because I could then make them brag about all their cool toys they got. Their grandma wouldn't have white hair. She would have long, blonde, curly hair. She would also be living with them. They wouldn't take a train. They would take a limo. The kids would be homeschooled and wouldn't have to do anything. Why did you write this book? Past experience? Are you married? Do you have kids? Yours truly, Megan. How quickly the young can bring you down. But you stagger up and write on, or do the next lesson plan. And I come to you from a childhood home where no screens glowed. A home where there were bedtime stories because there was bedtime. And I'm with you because my mother read to me before I could read to myself. Parents never know what they're doing. My mother wasn't trying to make a published writer out of me. She just had no intention of sending an ignoramus to first grade. And so she filled me up with words. And the minute she opened the door to the alternative universe of storytelling, of fiction, I saw more interesting lives than mine. And I still do. I'm a writer because most of who we are is determined in those first 5 fleeting years of life before we ever see school. Schools don't build foundations. Schools build upon foundations. My mother read to me, but the true legacy from both of my parents was this. They never lost a battle to me, and so I did not have to look elsewhere for leaders. And I'm a writer because of a boy I met when I was a kid myself. I didn't meet him at school. I wouldn't have sat next to him in class. I met him in the library. He was an attention deficit disordered, at risk, sociologically challenged, differently abled, special needs riddled and ready boy, whose single parent was a homeless substance abuser. A boy who today would be playing a guidance counselor like a violin. A boy named Huckleberry Finn. I never wrote a line of fiction until I was 37 years old, but Huckleberry Finn was there just when I needed him to prove that whole novels could be read in the Midwestern setting I could see around me. He saved me. And to this day, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn is on my desk. And when I have trouble with my writing, I put my hand on that book to feel Mark Twain's heart beating. History and geography are the writer's chief tools. We have to keep majoring in both. I know this is bad news to the inmates of the creative writing class. You know that class I mean that says write what you know, spill your experience on the page. Oh no, we don't work like that. No. If I had been limited to writing what I know, I would have produced in these 30 years one unpublishable haiku. If you have a teacher who says, now write what you know, just say, doesn't work that way. No. I don't write what I know, I don't know anything. I write what I can find out. Give me a pass to the library. Because every book starts in the library in the hope that it will end there. All fiction is based on research. I just handed in a manuscript for a novel set in the Civil War. And there's no one left alive to tell me how people talked then. So I have to go back to the books of that time, and there are their voices. Sometimes in books that haven't been checked out in years. But the voices are there. And I need the songs of the time. That there come moments in time when books are there for you and nobody else is. And so you'd better be able to read. And something else too. You'd better be able to write, because sometimes you have to write a poem just to get through the night. It happened to me. The poem is called September 11th. We thought we'd outdistanced history, told our children it was nowhere near. Even when history struck Columbine, it didn't happen here. We took down the maps in the classroom, and when they were safely furled, we told the young what they wanted to hear, that they were immune from a menacing world. But history isn't a folded up map or an unread textbook tome. Now we know history's a fireman's child waiting at home alone. Thank you for being here this evening.